with bringing Jesus down, from what I can remember, making him kind of a prophet, right?
What?
Right? Like bringing Jesus down, making him less than he actually is.
Okay, so how did they argue this? So do you know
No,
who
that
Arius was?
no, I'm not really knowledgeable about it. I just know a little bit. I'm just interested. Like, obviously, we live in a different time now. People they debate in peace, but obviously, a long time ago, when people were debating about religion, they often got mad. So I'm kind of amazed that at that time, people were peacefully debating.
I mean, at that time, right? Like, if anything, Orthodox people prior to the Council of Nicaea were pretty much persecuted by Arians, because the majority of the church at that time, including most of its bishops, were all Arians.
Yeah,
So, but first of all, you have to know like what does it mean to be an Arian, right? So you should probably go research like what Arianism is.
yeah. So I mean, was I right about it? Like they try to bring Jesus down as a prophet.
They just didn't believe that he was divine.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Basically, like, yeah, So I
But
did
here's the
know.
way that they argued it, right? They said that he didn't have a divine nature. That's literally the thesis that comes from Arius, excuse me.
Yeah, hello?
And Arius
Yo,
himself wasn't a bishop, he was just a priest teaching this shit in Alexandria.
Ask
yeah.
the
I,
Catholics. This is interesting.
so
So, and Nicholas, he was, I believe, a bishop somewhere around that area. No, north of, like around Turkey, right? No one
St.
actually
Nicholas.
knows. Like, I don't think we know which, like,
I think he was from
diocese he was.
Anatolia.
Anatolia, yeah, okay. So that's still like Turkey, right? Modern day Turkey.
yeah,
Okay.
or well, Greece. It could also be Greece.
He could have been,
Right,
he was
that's the
most likely
thing.
Greek.
It would have been Greek Turkey. Or I
Yeah,
don't fucking know, man.
yeah.
Because there's like
Well,
islands,
Byzantine
off.
Empire.
Story. So how did Arianism people not realize that Jesus is divine? Because literally the entire New Testament is proof that Jesus
Yeah,
is
yeah,
divine.
yeah.
Like, did they
So
actually read the Bible?
right, so that becomes the issue. What I would probably do if I was you is I would probably do some research on who Arius was. Like I said, he was a priest in Alexandria.
Yeah, but a priest reads the Bible, right?
Yeah, that's what's so stupid about it.
So he didn't read. He was just
So
talking
so think
about
about it
gospel
this
while
way.
not
Think
even.
about it this way. If Jesus is just merely a human nature, does that make sense? And he doesn't have a divine nature, then if you're a convert to Christianity from the Roman Empire, well then maybe you don't have to take everything that Jesus says seriously because he's not God. Does that make sense? So if you're a preacher and you're the one that's peddling this idea, people are going to support your idea because they're not really interested in being a Catholic anyways or a Christian anyways. It just became politically popular to do.
Okay, so it was purely for gaining political power.
Correct.
Okay, well they succeeded because I think they took over France or something, right? They made a peace with or a arrangement with France and Rome or something.
How come you know all of this history but you don't actually know the theology?
Well, wait, I mean it's just I picked up bits of parts. I don't really want
Yeah,
to
so
speak about
this
it.
this yeah, yeah, yeah. So a lot of this kind of question, you can like go do study. You know what I mean? I think you're just not being intellectually honest about the topic.
I don't even know what intellectually honest means, man.
Yeah, well, it means that, you've put in an honest effort to go study the relevant issues or the matter at hand.
All right, I got you.
Are you a Christian?
Yes.
So I don't want to deride you too much, like you're asking the right questions, right? But a lot of these questions, if you're asking these questions, like have a lot of answers to them if you go read and do research.
Yeah.
or even
No,
scripture.
I agree with. But it's just that I'm a pretty recent Christian, and I've been only not really focused on history, but more on the gospel because gospel is a very big book, and there's a lot of to study about it. So if
Well, the
you
gospel is
knew,
just one part of 73
yeah,
books in the Bible, if we're talking
yeah,
about being Catholic.
Okay. I'll try to take you seriously. Sorry, I didn't know if you're trolling or not, because there's a lot of like questions that you're asking. It's just like, just question after question. They're all Google related questions, right? Like you just like Google this shit. Um, Here's where I'll start to point you in a direction, all right? Because it's gonna be, if you're saying you're a new Christian, it's gonna be really important for you, especially around this time period, because a lot of the way that the church fathers respond to Arius' heresy get right to the heart of the matter, right? They address what the consequences are for assuming this. They also demonstrate that this has never been the teaching of the early church, neither is it biblical for logical reasons. This is part of the whole response to Arius, right? And then they also start criticizing, right, those Christians that are looking for the easy way out. Does it make sense? So again, Christianity prior to Arius was pretty not popular.
I didn't know that it wasn't popular before Arianism. I actually thought that it was quite popular. I didn't know that.
No,
Wait,
I mean they at the time
so
they crucified Christ, did you think they were fans of the people that followed him?
I mean, they recruited quite a lot of people when the apostles went to preach.
Yeah, and they were martyred, killed.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
okay.
That's
Fair
what I'm
enough.
saying. Like
And like
if they
Saint Peter was crucified upside down by Emperor Nero.
yeah, if
Yeah.
they killed Jesus for what he was saying, not because he committed any crimes, right? Uh, why would you assume that they were perfectly okay with other people going around and saying exactly what Jesus said and preaching his message?
They weren't.
Right?
They viewed Christian. Well, after
Yeah.
Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, they viewed Christianity as a threat to their power.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy,
And like
They
even
belong to their father, the devil.
yeah, that's kind of how Christians were treated, for after Arianism and before, right? Like, it just depends on what part of the world,
like Saint
right?
Sebastian.
Like, yeah, like most of the, if you look at the saints, at least Catholic saints, like a big amount of them are martyrs. That's how a lot of people become saints, is that they
Saint
die
Sebastian,
for,
Saint Stephen, Saint Joan of
yeah,
Arc.
yep.
Yo, yo, yo. Is there any Orthodox here? Orthodox.
I think this
No,
thanks Father Sozom
Yeah. I
is
mean, I'm
Orthodox
not.
because he doesn't actually
I'm
know a lot
convinced.
of the history and he doesn't know a lot of the church fathers, so he's probably Eastern Orthodox.
Yeah, so basically what I do is I guess I'm kind of non-denominational, but I like to follow saints,
Okay.
teachings of saints from Eastern Orthodoxy to improve discipline or improve
You
consistency
have
of
not
praying.
been baptized or received communion in Eastern Orthodox.
Yeah,
Father Sozom, I would advise you probably want to stay away from the modern day saints in Eastern Orthodoxy,
Yeah.
What the fuck? You need to
because
be white?
the
The fuck
modern
kind of shit was
saints
that?
the modern saints are not going to
Weird.
be recognized by the Roman Catholics.
what
yeah.
about
So
modern day Roman
I
Catholic
don't
saints?
really.
Since the topic earlier was is intellectual honesty, right? And you want to know what intellectual honesty means? Well, probably intellectually honest is going to mean why don't you stay a little bit closer to the actual sources in history, right? So you're
Yeah,
not
so
just running
for
around with a
myself,
bunch of conjecture or
But
intuition
dude, Aquinas was
or
a heretic though.
so
You know, he
heterodox thoughts from modern Greek Orthodox saints that the Roman Catholics do not acknowledge.
yeah, so I don't really care about any church acknowledging which one or not. What I care about is Jesus, and when I see a person who has teachings that bring me closer to Jesus, I care about it.
Okay, let me ask you a question, okay? I'm going to ask you two questions, all right? And they're related. First question is who created the church?
Jesus via giving, I guess, Peter at the Pentecost, the
Keys to
first
heaven.
church.
Great question, or great answer. So, right, it was Jesus who created the church, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Who did Jesus create the church for?
Well, us.
No, that's not the right answer. I'll give you one more chance. Who did Jesus create the church for?
For us to worship in, right? I mean, what can I say?
Believers, bro, believers.
Yeah,
Nope,
that's
you're
what I'm
both
saying.
wrong.
Well, what
Dude,
did he
it's for
create?
believers, bro.
Okay, that's not the right answer. Would you like the right answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
He created the church for himself.
Yeah, to be worshipped, you mean?
No. God doesn't need worship.
What? No, that doesn't make sense, dude. That literally doesn't make any sense.
What do you
Yes,
mean?
yes, it
Is
We
does.
God
need
like?
yeah. We
Does
need
God like
God.
Sure.
God doesn't
necessarily
need
need
us.
worship?
Each
What did I just? God does not need worship.
We need
Correct.
God. God doesn't need us.
There
Now
you
you
Yeah,
go.
get it.
obviously. But when we
So
worship God, we receive
So,
His
okay, you
glory, and
guys are
that's
going.
what He.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Okay, newbie Christian. So again, the answer is Jesus did not create the church for us. He created the church for himself.
No, it's mutual, dude. It's not just for him.
It's not mutual at all. It's
It
not
is,
contingent.
dude.
It's
He wants
not
to have a
contingent at all.
relationship. He
Nope.
wants to commune.
You see,
Communion is
this is the
relationship.
reason why the early church heresies and Christological heresies are important to understand. Because if you're wholly ignorant of it, then you're wholly ignorant of what the actual church is. It's a work of God, right? It's a work of Christ.
It's the
And
bride.
that's
yeah.
that's a interpretation, right? That's a typological title, but that's not the actual
That
metaphysics of what the
is.
church
That's what
is.
in the Old Testament as well. It's mutual. A bride means a relationship. It's two. It's not one.
Right. So now you're kind of getting it, right? So
Dude, oh my god.
who chooses the bride in the Old Testament?
Dude, it's always Jesus, of course.
Now you're starting to get closer.
Dude, I already know this stuff, bro. Come on.
No, I don't think you do.
Dude, okay.
I think you're arrogant enough to think that you actually know it,
Dude, you're a Thomist, right? You follow
but you have no
Aquinas.
justification for any of your answers.
You follow
Thomas
Aquinas, right?
Aquinas.
You follow Aquinas.
So how about this? No. No, you're not going to shift the goalposts. We're getting back to the main topic, which is, so how are you saying that the church was created for us or for man? How
Well,
are you believing in this proposition?
we can go back to the ark. Like the church is the ark. It's
So you're
for
just
believers to
right. So what
commune.
you're doing is you're just engaged in pure intuition. You're moving from one idea to the next. You're just creating tangents for yourself.
No, it's to commune. The believers to commune with God. That's what it is. It's communion, dude. That's literally what Eucharist is.
Okay, so what's the point of the Eucharist?
To have a relationship with
Trusting
Christ.
Christ.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
And what does the word Eucharist translate to in English?
Like communion, like literally relationship.
no, that's not true
No.
either. He asked you the
It
actual
means
definition of
thanksgiving.
Eucharist, correct?
Yeah, it translates to thanksgiving.
I mean, Eucharist is called communion as well. That's what I use.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying that the translation that we're giving thanks to Christ. We're not saying that.
So, but here's the thing, Mr. Bull. Like, you still haven't answered the question, right? You're kind of circumlocuting around it. You're being circuitous in addressing the actual question,
Okay, what's
which
the
is,
question, dude?
well, the question is how do you justify your claim? And your claim is that Jesus created the church for believers.
Well, it's
No.
consisting of believers. Like, oh, you mean the purpose of it? You mean the purpose of creating, or what do you mean? What's the question? I don't get it.
So earlier, when we were asking Father Sozom, we asked him two questions, right? First question, Jesus created the church, not believers, right?
Yeah, sure,
Who did
yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
create the church for? Your guys' answer, you kept answering that it was for believers.
yeah. I believe that.
Okay, but that's the wrong answer.
So, is it not to have a relationship with Christ? Is that not what
I
it is?
guess I guess also especially unbelievers, because the sick is, the church is like a hospital for the wicked.
So the reason why the right answer is Jesus creates the church for himself is because he's the only rightful sovereign and ruler of the world. So he creates a church because he chooses
Because he wants a
those who,
church.
not only that, but it's because he's the one that chooses who becomes part of the body of Christ.
Sure.
Like St.
Or
Paul says, right? No one follows Christ unless they're already chosen.
Dude, you sound like a Calvinist, bro. Like, why did
This is
God
not
even create
Calvin.
man in the beginning?
This is not Calvinism at all. This is literally St. Paul.
Dude,
No,
why did
no
God create
words, no
Adam, bro?
words, nothing I say, nothing I do, apart from the work of the Spirit, can convince any of you.
Dude, okay, why did God
I
create
think,
Adam?
you see, this is, I mean, the reason why I'm trying to like dig into this very acutely is because earlier in the conversation we were talking about Arianism, and I'm still not done talking about Arianism yet. And the question Father Sozom was asking earlier was how could, even though the Bible says repeatedly over and over again that Jesus is God, and that's what the early Christians believe, how by the time you get to the 3rd century is most of the Christian world Arian? Because they misunderstood the person of Jesus. They tried to reduce his divinity to basically nothing. So that's why it's
Dude,
important to ask these clarifying questions. Who do you believe that Jesus created the church for?
okay, answer my
He
question
didn't
then,
create
dude.
it for the believers, he created it for himself.
Bro,
Because
answer my question then.
Jesus
What?
as the
Dude, just
rightful
answer it.
sovereign, Jesus as the rightful sovereign, leader, and ruler of this world, wanted to choose people for himself.
Dude, why is this guy doing a monologue? Just answer my question as well. Come on. Oh my god.
Sir, no one's monologuing. I'm trying to help you out because you're unable to answer the actual claim that's on the table, which is your claim that the church was created for believers, and you still haven't provided a justification for it.
Yeah, but dude, can I ask you a question to counter it?
No, after you
Wait, you're controlling the conversation, dude.
you could here's your two
Isn't
options.
the
You can either
sorry?
choose
Isn't
to
the
retract. You can either retract your claim and revise it, or you can try to justify it. Those are your two options right now.
I'll justify it by asking you a question. Why
Wrong.
can't I do that? Why can't I do
Wrong.
that?
Because that's
It's so
called
stupid.
shifting. Because that is called shifting the burden, sir.
No, it's not. I want to clarify your position because I don't think you understand it.
No,
You don't
here's the
understand it.
thing. I've already given you many olive branches at this point. I've described to you the context by which I'm asking the original question. The only two options you have right now is one, retract your claim, or two, continue to try to justify it.
I already justified it.
I don't think you have.
Why did God create Adam in the first place? It's to commune with him. That's why he created the church. To commune with the believers. It's the same reason.
That still doesn't sound like a justification. That just sounds like a hypothetical. Sounds like you're speculating. Sounds like you're reaching out with your intuition at this point. You're
No,
just
that's literally
creating.
orthodox theology.
No, I don't believe that that's the orthodox theology.
It
Because
is,
I
dude.
don't think, to be quite honest, based on my reading of the Eastern Church Fathers, they don't say the same thing that you do. You're making
It's
shit
literally
up.
the icon of it. There's literally an icon of what I'm saying right now. But dude, you're a Catholic, bro. You believe in a God man on earth. That's not Jesus, dude. Like the Pope, bro. He's a heretic, man. Come on.
So, okay, before you start gish galloping now, we're gonna go back to the original question again, okay? We're gonna just keep going back to square one. The claim on the table is how do you justify that the church was created for believers?
In the same manner, God created Adam.
How does God creating Adam have to do with Jesus creating the church? What is the rule of inference that you're providing here?
It's the same line of it. There's a red line going through the entire Bible, from Adam to the Ark to Israel to the church. Same shit.
How? Please provide us an interpretation.
Dude, isn't Israel the church? And the Ark the Israel as well? It's all spiritual Israel at the end of the day. That's literally what it is. It's going back to garden with Adam. With Jesus being the new Adam. That's literally what it is. It's pretty simple, dude.
I think you have a very undisciplined and intellectually dishonest approach to understanding or interpreting anything in the scriptures. But I wouldn't expect
Dude, I literally consult the church fathers for this.
I wouldn't expect anything more from an Eastern Orthodox.
Dude, you believe in Aquinas, bro. He's a Neoplatonist. He literally copies Aristotle.
Are you familiar
Dude, scholasticism is such a lie, dude.
Are you familiar that most of the early church fathers were Neoplatonists?
No, they used their language, but they were not Neoplatonists.
Are you familiar with who Plotinus is?
Yes, of course.
Okay, who is Plotinus?
He comes after Plato. He's one of the middle Platonists.
What's a Middle Platonist?
Well, I think he was from Egypt, right? He's like in the 300-400s, right?
Okay.
So he basically he developed like a bunch of Neoplatonic ideas that you guys just copy.
That we just copy. What about the Cappadocian Fathers?
They were not Neoplatonists.
Yes, they were. Are you familiar with Saint John Damascene?
No.
Now he's a later church father. He's not one of the early church fathers, but the Cappadocian Fathers were also Neoplatonists.
Wait, can you provide proof? Like, just provide me some sources or some stuff like that. Just say how they were Neoplatonists.
Who were the Cappadocian Fathers?
In Cappadocia in Turkey, later on.
But who were they? There are three of them.
I forgot their specific names, but they're pretty important.
Two of them were brothers.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
how were they Neoplatonists?
no, this is great, right? So here's the thing again. I mean, I'm gonna say I know it mostly applies to Father Sozom because Father Sozom says that his favorite saint,
Paisios.
Paisios, right, who's a very contemporary saint, right, that the Roman Catholics do not acknowledge. I would go back and spend some time with the early church fathers. In your context, since you are claiming to be a Greek Orthodox with Orthodox views on doctrine, I would go and actually read the writings of the Cappadocian Fathers. This is going to be St. Basil, it's going to be Gregory of Nyssa, and Nazianzus. And all three of them were Neoplatonists.
No, there's no way, dude. There's no way. That's 100% fake.
It's not fake at all.
Dude, how can you claim papal and infallibility, dude? That's literally Vatican II, bro. It's nonsense, bro.
Yeah. The thing is just trying to fill in the gap of your own ignorance with, oh, Catholics are bad. Oh, Vatican II is bad. Like, this is not being intellectually honest.
Okay, but dude, why does
So,
your
hey,
Pope bring in like
in the
idols?
side chat, since you don't even understand what Platonism is, here's a Stanford summary, right, on Neoplatonism. You're fucking stupid.
Nah, dude. Wait, why does your Pope bring in like idols? You know,
Okay,
like
stop gish galloping,
he literally
sir. Sir,
blasphemed Mary.
stop gish galloping. Currently, right
Dude, he
now,
blasphemed
the
Mary,
claim
bro.
that currently, sir, the claim that is on the table that we're discussing right now is not about the Pope. It's not about Vatican II. It's literally your claim that the church was created for believers.
We're still not done with
So,
that.
you still, right, because you still have not justified it yet. And you keep trying to shift the burden and move the goalpost and starting to gish gallop to other issues that are not this issue. Do you still believe that the church that Jesus created, he created for believers and not himself?
I think it was a relationship with the believers. Yeah. Okay, explain me how. What your view? Just go deep into your view. Justify it.
Okay, so Jesus created the church for himself because only God could create a church.
So why is your church founded on Peter? He's not God. He's not God, dude.
Okay, so are you denying, sir, that Jesus gave the keys to the kingdom to St. Peter?
The man who denied him 3 times.
Show me that.
No, it wasn't given. The rock isn't Peter. It's confession.
No, it is actually Peter. He singles him out. That
No,
you're
no, but
falling on
that would
a.
mean the church,
No one
dude. That
agrees
would
with
mean the
that
church is built on a
interpretation. Not even
man.
modern scholars actually agree with that interpretation. So,
That would
so
mean the church is built on a man, dude.
Petra is
Is
the
the
Greek
church built on
word
a man?
for a rock, right? But Jesus specifically renames Peter or refers to him as Petros, right? Which is just a masculinization. Are you familiar with Matthew 16?
Yeah, my keys, bruh. My keys.
He doesn't give the keys to everybody. He singles Peter out literally by saying, Peter, you're the only one. You've confessed something that no other man on this earth has ever told you. And to you, Peter, Petros, I give you the keys to the kingdom. That's what he says.
Yeah, but so your church is built on a man,
So let
a
me see here.
fallible
So
man.
you're claiming to be an
That's
Eastern
interesting,
Orthodox.
dude. That's interesting.
Do you accept papal primacy, sir?
Yeah, of course.
And then what does that mean for you?
It's not supremacy. It's not supremacy, dude. It's different.
So then here's the thing. If you're saying that there's something wrong with the church being built upon Peter, what does this mean to you? Like, how do you understand papal primacy? Do you believe
The
that
Bishop of
Peter,
Rome has primacy
do
in
you
council, for
believe,
example.
do you believe that Jesus built the church upon Peter and his authority as the
No,
rock?
no,
But that's literally
no,
what Matthew 16 means.
no. He built it on his confession.
So then
All
how
true
do you
confessing
interpret how do you
bishops.
so let's go back to
David.
Matthew 16 then. How do you
Dude,
interpret
why
Matthew
can't you
16?
let me finish saying? You gotta
No,
interrupt me every time.
because you
Why
keep
do you have to
trying to
interrupt
gish
me every
gallop.
time?
Nope, because you lack discipline, sir. So then
Dude, that's not how you do a
how do you
conversation.
this is not a conversation. This is a debate
What
room.
a dumbass, dude. What a dumbass.
Excuse me, sir. This room is not a safe space for your feelings. The current claim on the table, which is your claim, is that you believe that the church was created for believers. So we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're not going to talk about anything else. So again, sir, how do you interpret Matthew 16?
It's his confession. I already told you.
Is it just his confession?
Yeah, it's true confession.
So when I said earlier, right, that part of Peter's confession is that Jesus singles him out because of his confession and then gives him the keys to the kingdom. Correct?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
happens.
So then why are you leaving out the second part and you're only choosing to focus on the other? This seems
Because
very intellectually dishonest, don't you think?
no, because if you take that, it was built on a man.
This would make you
Dude,
no
why can't
different
you
from a
let me
Protestant.
finish? Why
Well,
can't you let me
do you
finish?
realize that you're just choosing to address the scriptures by only acknowledging one set of context versus another, right? And you're not taking
Dude,
the
nobody
scripture
can
as
talk with
in
this
the whole.
clown when he interrupts every time, dude.
Okay, sir, one more ad hom.
Dude,
We're
you're a
gonna get
clown,
muted.
bro. You're a clown.
I think
Just
here's the
like
thing.
clown mask. You
No,
have
no, no,
clown
no, no,
mask,
no.
dude.
You know, here's the
You're
thing, man. We're gonna continue with this because it's just gonna demonstrate that you don't actually have a belief.
Nah, I think we're finished here,
No, no,
dude.
no,
I
no. I
can't
don't think so.
talk
What
with
you
this
want
guy.
it. Here's the thing. You want it to end because you can't handle the pain of
No,
being an
because you
idiot.
interrupt me every time I speak.
No,
You interrupt me every I can't even speak, dude. You're
it's
a
just because you're
clown.
a fucking moron. That's why. You haven't made any point, right, to justify your earlier claim. You lack any sense of logical coherency because your epistemological foundation is just made up fucking circular nonsense. Just like
This
every
is what
great
happens with
Orthodox
scholasticism, guys.
epistemological
No Aquinas,
foundation,
bro.
right?
Say no to
And you
Aquinas.
have the temerity
Say no
to
to Aquinas,
continue. You have the
guys.
temerity to
Makes you into
continue
clowns,
to
like clown
straw man
mask.
Roman Catholics for their views on Aquinas or scholastic theology, and you have nothing in its place, sir. You're just a
Bro, you have a
rebellious.
clown
No, no, no.
mask,
Excuse me,
bro.
sir.
That's
You're just a
enough, bro.
rebellious,
Just leave the Catholic
intellectually
Church.
dishonest, heretical, quote unquote, follower of Eastern Orthodoxy, and you don't even understand your own history. You're wholly ignorant of the church fathers and their understanding of scripture, and you claim to follow these people.
Dude, you thought the Capadocian Fathers were
Sir,
neo-Platonists. That's the
you're a
stupidest shit
fraud
ever.
and you're a scam.
Dude, you're a clown, bruh.
And you're a fraud and you're a scam.
That's better than a clown. Like the clown mask you guys
It's
have at the
amazing.
Being a fraud is worse than being a clown, for sure.
Nah, bruh. I'd rather be
You
a
know what?
fraud than a clown.
That's really sad.
I'm going to
Yeah,
play this
wonderful
for
agree.
all my Eastern Orthodox friends.
Plays the world's smallest violin.
So, I give you another life breath. Would you like to retract your earlier statement or your earlier claim that the church is created for believers?
Bro, what is this? Are you gonna let me speak or what?
Bro, you call yourself religious and you say that you'd rather be a fraud? That's insane. You don't think there's anything wrong with that?
Nah, dude.
You don't see anything contradictory about that logic?
I don't want to be a clown like you guys with the Aquinas bullshit, bruh. No
Did you
clown mask
read
for
the
me.
Bible?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not religious, but like I haven't read the whole Bible. But what did you get out of the Bible? Just out of curiosity.
Dude, it's important, bruh. You gotta read it yourself.
What are some of the big lessons you got? You know how you read a book and there's lessons out of it?
Yeah, you should try it. Try reading the Bible, bruh.
I went to church. I was forced into it. I'm aware of the Ten Commandments. Can you tell me some of the lessons that you learned? Do you know anything about your religion? Can you
I
tell
don't
me
think,
any of the
dude,
Ten
you weren't
Commandments?
even a Christian, bro.
Do you
You were a
follow the
Protestant,
Ten
right?
Commandments?
You were a
I'm
Protestant,
an
right?
atheist, but that's besides the point. I'm
Why
a
do you
bit
keep
spiritual.
deflecting, Mr. Bull? When
Anyway,
people start
This guy was a
asking you
my
difficult
Protestant.
beliefs
He
don't
wasn't
matter.
even a Christian.
Can you tell me
You weren't
any of
even
the
a
Ten
Christian,
Commandments?
dude.
Do you know any of the Ten Commandments?
Dude, you weren't even a Christian. You were a Protestant, right?
Do
That's
you have
fake.
the ability to answer a question directly, or do you just deflect like every single
National
time?
kill.
Are you like a deflect
On the
machine?
mother
Like,
and my father.
are you like a mirror? Like, do you, not even a mirror? Like, you're just like uh, you just like scream random words. Like,
he's a
can you
fraud.
answer the question? Do you know the Ten Commandments? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, name one. No
Literally,
looking. No looking.
no. What do you mean? Like, I am the Lord thy God? Like, from that brought you from out of Egypt? That's the first one.
That's not the whole of it, but continue.
That's not a lesson either.
That is literally the first commandment.
If God
That's
commanded
how it
you to kill a
starts.
child, would you do it?
So the original conversation, Mr. Bull, do you still want to maintain that the church was created for believers and not for Jesus?
Yeah, it's a relationship between believers. I wanted to create a relationship. That's what the church
So do
is.
you
The bride.
believe that the relationship of the believers is more important than the church's relationship to God?
Wait, it's mutual. It's not mutually exclusive. It's mutual.
I mean, yeah, no, that's a fair statement. But if it's instituted by Jesus, did he create it for himself exclusively, or are you still maintaining that it isn't just exclusive for Jesus?
What I meant when I said for the believers, I meant the relationship between the believers and God. That's the whole point, to commune with each other. It's mutual.
So, do you believe that believers could have a relationship with God without Jesus?
No, no, never.
So, how is it mutual?
Wait, what do you mean? Like, I literally, like before I said, with Adam, Jesus walked with Adam, right? It's communion. That's literally the church in the beginning.
So, do you believe that communion is necessary for God?
Yeah, for the church, yeah.
For the church or for God?
Wait, God doesn't need anything.
Correct. So then, why is there a church?
What do you mean? Like, for to commune with it, like with the believers?
Okay, so now do you see how that still it doesn't answer the question? Because if you acknowledge that communion isn't necessary for God, but it is necessary for believers, I guess, that still doesn't address the question, then why do we have a church?
Well, dude, like if you want to go the Aquinas route, you can reduce everything to God. You can do that.
I think that's what you're doing, is you're equivocating between the church and between God. God is not contingent or dependent on the church in any way. So if you fail to distinguish between the church and God, you're just equivocating between the two. That's what you're doing, and you're projecting that onto Roman Catholics. So again,
Is
I'll
the Son
ask you.
dependent on the Father?
So I'm going to ask you again, right? If believers need communion with God, but God is not dependent and doesn't need communion with the believers, then why do we have a church?
I said it a lot of times, but I'll say it again. He created it to have communion with us.
But why? You're answering you're answering the question with your justification.
That is the reason to have a relationship, to commune.
Again, if believers need communion with God, but God doesn't need communion with the believers, why did he create the church?
Okay, dude, if I take your answer to it, which I don't agree with, which is that he created it for himself, there's no reason to have a church because it's just himself. You have to have believers in the church for it to be a church.
That's not addressing the question of the purpose. Do you see how we moved from your claim to now asking the question of why or what the purpose of the claim is?
I don't see, man.
Okay. So you agree that it is not necessary for God to have believers,
Yeah,
but it is necessary for believers to have God.
yeah.
So then why was the church created? What's the purpose?
To bridge the gap. I already told you so many times, dude.
But we've already agreed God doesn't need to bridge the gap.
So there's no need to create a church. Settle down, bro.
According to you, there's no reason to create the church. So that's your answer?
According to you, that's what it is.
No, this is your answer. It came from you.
Dude, this is so dumb, bro. It's
I
so
mean,
dumb.
here's the thing. If you were intellectually honest and you wanted to actually have a good faith conversation, you would actually ask, okay, so then why do you believe the purpose of the
I
church
already
is, right?
told you, dude. I asked you so many times.
No, you didn't. You have never once yet asked me what my side of the story is. You
I
continue
did,
to
and you
just
said it
straw
was for
man Roman
him.
Catholics by referring to, oh, well, St. Thomas this, St. Thomas that, Vatican II this, Pope this. You're
He's not a
running
saint,
with a
dude.
set
He's
of
not a saint.
prejudices, sir. You are a
He's
prejudiced
not a saint, bruh.
individual. Excuse me,
He's a
sir.
heretic, bruh.
You're a prejudiced individual who is arrogant and intellectually dishonest about your own interpretation. You come around here with the self delusion and you try to gaslight other Christians into believing things that they never said, they never claimed to. You're a scammer, sir, and you're a fraud.
Why did you record this, dude? Like, what the fuck?
So we can replay it over and over again and show exactly or what kind of dishonesty Greek Orthodoxy leads to.
Dude, you're on a
Because
platform
you
called
can't
Discord, bro.
answer simple, basic questions about the faith. I mean, so here's the thing. At least you're willing to admit it. You're just a bad faith interlocutor.
If you
You
don't mind
really
me
had no
asking,
you really have
sorry,
no serious claim to this conversation in the first place.
if you don't mind me
I do.
asking, what is the conversation about?
Okay. Well, how about this, Z-Jules? The current conversation, the current claim on the table, which we are not going to gish gallop off of, we're not going to allow
Okay,
people to just shift the goalpost to some other topic because of their refusal to actually answer or justify the claim. Mr. Bull here, his claim is that the church was created for believers.
okay, and
So,
you're refuting that claim, saying that it's not.
well, we're asking for a justification at this point.
Okay,
So, what we've established in the past 30 minutes is that we both agree on this particular claim. We agree that believers need communion with God, but
okay,
secondly, God does not need communion with the believers. So this leads to the next logical question, which is then what is the purpose of the church? Why was the church created? And he's just avoiding the question because he doesn't
I
have an
see,
answer.
I see.
So,
Yeah,
Mr. Bull,
this guy's a
again,
clown. Like, he goes to clown mass,
excuse me, sir.
on Sunday,
So
in a
why
Catholic church.
why according to you, Mr. Bull, did God create the church?
And I mean, it seems like this guy is getting confused about, well, maybe there's some confusion. I don't want to say he's getting confused particularly, right? But, like, I mean, I think the answer to this is really intuitive, but the problem with the language used, right, is like, in one sense, you talk about, like, why did he need to do it? And then in the next sense, you guys might be talking about, like, what's the reason, right?
It's
Um,
because he's equivocating.
and, right, and the necessity question is always going to be, well, he didn't need to, right? But the reason question, right? I mean, like, dude, to the guy Abysmal was talking to, right? You should actually just be like, share your heart with us and explain why do you think that he did that. It's a pretty intuitive like answer, and I mean, there's gonna be. I mean, yeah, just answer the question. I don't think it's like just put the like swords put your sword down, right?
Dude, I answered it so many times,
No,
bruh.
you didn't. You have not addressed, right, the logic of your thesis
Bro,
yet.
why are you so serious? We're on a kids
Bec-
platform called
do you know
Discord.
why, Mr. Bull? Because we're not this room is not a place for your feelings. You're not just going to be allowed in this room to just gish gallop and continue to gaslight other Christians. That's not what
Dude,
this
you
room is
believe in
about.
Vatican II, bro. You're
If you
already a
don't,
clown.
excuse me, sir, if you don't like that, you can go find another conversation. But as long as you're here, this is the claim that we're always going to talk about.
Hi
Is that
guys.
Go,
always? What are you
princess.
talking about?